I'm Alex, this is Technical Gaming, and Destiny 2 grinds my gears. Now, the TLDW of this video is simply that Destiny 2 is so obsessed with its own tedium, I don't find it enjoyable to play. There's a lot more nuance to it, obviously, and there's a lot of other things that I'm going to get into in this video because that would make for a very short and uninteresting video. But let's go to the hub world, and we can discuss this. We can get into detail, okay? That's what you're here for. You're here for the details. You give me the tea. What's the tea? So right off the bat, my problem with Destiny 2 hits me in the face, right? Whenever you go between areas, there's this loading screen that happens, and on this loading screen is a ship. And this ship is a cosmetic item that you can grind to get new versions of, new skins for, etc. But at no point ever in Destiny 2's story or other open world mission systems do you ever actually pilot this ship. This ship serves no functional purpose in the game other than to be a loading screen cosmetic item that's constantly taunting you to, hey, if you grind a little bit more, you can get this thing that you can look at for these extended loading scenes that we have in the game. It's like rather than come up with a technical solution to make their load times less extreme, Bungie just threw a cosmetic item on it to tantalize players into grinding more. And at every step of progression, gameplay, story, everything, at every turn, the game is constantly reminding you that there is something you could be working towards. And I get that that is like supposed to add some kind of inherent value to the game. You know, there's all of these amazing things that you could always be doing to grind and unlock new stuff and level up. But the actual system of interacting with and obtaining those upgrades is obnoxious. And so what I mean by that is if your inventory is full, like my weapon inventories are right now, items that drop in the world as rewards, like loot, come to this person, the postmaster. And as you can see, I have some lost items that I can claim, whatever. But the thing is, over here is a vault. Destiny 2 has a vault system, and it's a place where you can be like, all right, I don't want to destroy this gear because maybe it's got sentimental value or I could use it later. So I'm going to put it in my vault, and you have 500 slots for this thing, right? So why is it that my gear, when I can't pick it up in the game world, goes to this person that I have to spawn at this actual location, talk to, pick up, make the inventory space for, pick up, and then if I don't want it, I have to destroy it or put it in the vault? Why doesn't the item just go in the vault to begin with? And why isn't the vault an option in this menu? Like, this is the most important menu in the game, and yet some of the fundamental features of the game aren't available in it. You know, this whole area, this entire hub world could literally be a menu that you don't have to go to, that you don't have to run from person to person to interact with. And it would be so much simpler and more intuitive. And like, why does this place even exist? It exists to make you go do stuff. In making you go do that stuff, they're constantly throwing microtransactions at you. Like, it just so happens that the lost item collector person is right next to the microtransaction store. Like, every single thing about this game is constantly reminding you that you could be doing other things in the game. And so with that, let's talk about the inventory system. As you can see, there's no indication unless you mouse over an item what level it is, you know, what its power rating is. But if you hold a button, you can see all that information and it's clearly displayed, and it's like really valuable and useful to at a glance be able to manage your inventory like this. You cannot make this a toggle. It's hold only. So you have to hold this button every time you want to organize your gear, or you're like at the mercy of mousing over every single thing to get an idea of what the power level is. But furthermore, there's no auto equip. So if you get a higher mark of confrontation or Titan mark or whatever the hell this is, like if you get a higher power level one, it doesn't auto equip. There's no option to make it automatically equip. And you can imagine how in a game where everything is constantly pushing you towards acquiring the highest end gear, an auto equip feature would be useful. Like in the middle of combat, if I get dropped a new pair of pants, maybe I just want that new pair of pants on automatically. Maybe I don't want to have to, pause the gameplay that I'm enjoying right now and dive into a menu and equip new stuff. Little things like that, then when you add them all together, make for an infuriating experience. That's just kind of the surface level issue. The fundamental problem, and the reason I don't enjoy this game, is that the gameplay is the same from the moment you start the game till the moment you get tired of it and walk away from it. And what I mean by that is every single mission is go to a place, shoot the enemies, and collect a reward. Every single mission. There are other games that aren't necessarily looter shooters that have pioneered a system for constantly getting players to replay the game over and over again without boring them to death. Games like Fallout New Vegas and Deus Ex pioneered this stuff years ago. Like Fallout New Vegas is a perfect example. You start that game and you can pick up a 9mm pistol off a shelf. And that 9mm pistol is a perfectly viable weapon from the start of the game to the end of the game. And the reason for that isn't because it's some kind of god gun or that the game has an insane upgrade system that lets you just make weapons viable for an extended period of time. It's because there's all of these other gameplay systems that aren't specific to shooting things that make it so you can get through missions. If a boss is being particularly difficult to kill with your weapons, you can level up your speech or your barter or whatever and just talk them out of killing you. And there's all kinds of systems like that in Fallout and in Deus Ex, and they are the things that make those games so enjoyable. It boggles my mind how no one has figured out how to implement those kinds of features in a looter shooter, because they seem like features that would fundamentally improve every single aspect of looter shooters. Imagine Destiny 2, with all its beautiful production value, having an actual RPG mechanic, like stealth, or like different attributes you can level up over time to give you different abilities and strengths and weaknesses and stuff. Like, imagine having an actual stealth ability where you could be like, all right, I'm going to be a stealth ninja. I'm going to sneak up on these guys. They're not going to see me, and I'm going to take them out one by one. You know, I get that that's not everyone's cup of tea and that the game is built to facilitate a run and gun solution to every single problem, but that's just it. Every single problem has the exact same solution in this game, and that's run at the thing, shoot the thing in the face, and then just kill the thing. And like, it gets to the point where you've done that so many times, like countless times, that it just becomes boring. And then they add an expansion that adds more content to chew through. But once you've chewed through that content, which only takes a few hours, you're left with the same fundamental issue, which is the gameplay doesn't have a lot of depth. I think the solution is to just do what games like Fallout and Deus Ex pioneered years ago and just make it so that there's more than one solution to every problem. Make it so there's more ways to get through a mission than just shoot everything. Again, like, I get that the whole point of these games is that you're shooting for loot. They're called looter shooters for a reason. But just imagine a looter shooter with the gameplay and the depth to entertain players well beyond its shelf life without needing a constant influx of cosmetic items that you can buy for real money and expansions that realistically adds nothing of value to the core gameplay experience. And so that's why Destiny 2 grinds my gears. Like, every single mission in this game is basically boils down to what you've been watching me play this whole time. And when you throw on top of that a system that's constantly nagging you and reminding you to level up and equip new gear and buy new cosmetics, it just becomes infuriating, especially if you can't look past the shallow gameplay. And that's kind of where I am, and that's why Destiny 2 grinds my gears. And hopefully someone at Bungie or another company developing a looter shooter is paying attention to what I'm saying and finally implements actual gameplay into their game. Until then, that's been my time. I'm Alex, and this has been Technical Gaming. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for future content. Thank you for watching.